Folks, this is the big one. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a breaking report. This is going worldwide as we speak. Chad Booksam just posted a video. Saudi Arabia has been attacked. There has been an attack on Saudi Arabia, shutting down about half of its oil output, accounting for roughly 5% of the world's daily production of crude oil. This possibly sends the price of oil skyrocketing. Now, according to the mainstream media, lying criminal propaganda cartel, Iran is responsible for this attack, and its militants, they're young Houthi rebels, suggesting, this is what the mainstream media is saying, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this in a minute, suggesting that they admitted to the drone swarm strike on the world's largest oil processing plant and at a second nearby facility, sparking huge fires, explosions, and tensions reaching a boiling point following tanker attacks. This is now all over the mainstream media. But there's an underlying story nobody's talking about, which of course is why you tune into AMTV, Alternative Media Television. Now, interestingly enough, Trump is floating the possible and this idea and the possibility of a defense treaty right now, days ahead of the Israeli elections, with Benjamin Netanyahu, King Bibi, fighting for his political life as he approaches re-election. So Trump throws out this olive branch to strengthen our relations with our tremendous ally, Israel, and to encourage the chances of King Bibi's re-election. Also, notate, allegedly, and this is allegedly, Trump confirmed that he just murdered Osama bin Laden's son. Yeah, he just whacked, allegedly, Osama bin Laden's son. I always think this is interesting how people take the moral high ground. Like, dude, presidents kill people every single day. Every single day. People think we live in a peaceful world. No, Trump just came out, this is all over the mainstream media, said he confirmed the death. He just murdered and killed Osama bin Laden's son, Hamza, was killed in a U.S. counterterrorism operation. So for those of you that live under your mother's blanket, okay, or your mother's boob, just realize presidents are killing people every single day. People are getting whacked within this country and outside of this country every single day, just as a part of the White House agenda. Now, I'm not blaming Trump. It doesn't matter if it's Trump or Barack Obama. These people are killers, and it's important that you understand that. It's important that you understand the reality of how the world actually works. Now, I'm going to get to the conspiracy here and really the motive for this alleged Saudi attack, because there is a clear and present motive from the criminal central banks and big oil to jack up oil prices as soon as possible. And there's a couple motivating factors for this. One, very conveniently, is a giant IPO soon coming to the global market, a Saudi Arabian-backed company soon to go public called Aramco. Okay? Aramco, or some people say Aramco. It's a massive, massive privatized entity which is soon doing an IPO and will be coming to the public market here in the coming days, weeks, and months. Now, these alleged attacks will only boost the underlying share price because, again, this is all about supply and demand. Less oil means more demand, means prices skyrocket. In addition to that, this falls into the lap of the globalists and the New World Order agenda, who is bleeding from bank bailouts after bank bailouts that have never stopped since 2008 and 2009. Notice that the ECB, the European Central Bank, has now just officially announced its continuation of quantitative easing and the buying of all of this fake money and debt. The United States has also announced that they're encouraging long-term bonds for 50, maybe soon 100-year durations, kicking the can down the road to what will certainly be civilization's economic, financial, and what we're already seeing, moral degrade and collapse. So there is a very, very big motive for these alleged attacks. There is a very, very big motive and false flag possibility regarding what you're seeing in the news right now, because it kills two birds with one stone. Number one, it falls into the hands of the economic central bank criminal globalist agenda. Secondly, it jacks up oil prices tremendously. In fact, I think there's a giant possibility that the stock market, just like I've predicted in recent days, weeks, and months, will experience a giant bloodbath and collapse on Monday. Because again, this will account and does account for 5% of the globe's oil supply. 5% of all the supplies. So this will equalize the markets with a supply shock. Also, it will pad the pockets of Saudi Arabia, who's also factually responsible for the attacks on September 11, 2001. Because again, Osama bin Laden was a Saudi national, a very wealthy Saudi national. And all the alleged people on the planes that ran into World Trade Center 1 and 2 were Saudis. But notice, and we've talked about this time immemorial, the United States never invaded Saudi Arabia. They invaded Iraq. And they blamed it on Osama bin Laden, who, by the way, if you're not already aware of, was an intelligence asset, who worked for the United States, who actually fought alongside U.S. troops, soldiers, and intelligence during the war in Afghanistan, originally fighting Russia. So again, this also geopolitically pulls Russia into the mix here, okay, which can bring in a counterpoint to and China, by the way, to all these moves currently taking place. So again, think of the three things that are happening now. Bibi, Benjamin Netanyahu fighting for his life. Then the announcement of the Taliban. See how this is all making much more sense. A couple of weeks ago, Trump called off the meeting, right? Now he confirms, allegedly, he just murdered Osama bin Laden's 50th child, because he had 50 kids, one of his sons, which is probably a lie as well. Also, it props up the failing economic collapsing system and will juice profits and share prices of the soon-to-be coming IPO of Aramco. Okay, the largest multi-conglomerate oil behemoth, which has been privatized for years and will now be coming to global financial markets and Wall Street. In my opinion, this is a giant, giant false flag. It is certain, humbly, to collapse financial markets in the near future. Again, I think we could have a Black Monday on Monday. Certainly, it's going to jack up oil prices and put more fear, right? We see this a time immemorial, right? We'll see the panic on Wall Street. We'll see people flooding out of the market all at once. The big quant trade systems, and it's going to bleed all the mom and pops, many of you tuning in that are not taking this seriously, who never think it's going to happen again, that think 2008 and 2009 was an anomaly, and it's absolutely, this is my opinion, going to bleed you dry. So we're expecting total Armageddon, total financial collapse. This is an absolute, in my opinion, false flag. It kills three birds with one stone, right? The public IPO coming from the Saudi government, Aramco. It's going to jack up oil prices and create desperate inflation that, of course, our economy needs, because it's based on bailouts, funny money, and worthless dollars printed from nothing into infinity, and debt that they're now encouraging to carry 50 and 100-year infinity bonds, okay, as they're jacking up our debt to $22 trillion. It also brings Russia into the mix, accomplishes the goal of demonizing the Iranian Houthi-backed rebels, and in my humble opinion, also helps to propel King Benjamin Netanyahu back into office as Trump cements the deal and tweets very viciously this morning on all of the said events I just mentioned. This is the truth. You're not going to hear it anywhere else. 5% of the world's daily production of crude oil is now non-existent. This was an act of war, allegedly, an attack by Iranian-backed Houthi rebels. How will Donald Trump respond? How will Saudi Arabia respond? Will they respond tonight with an attack of their own? Will they respond this weekend with military engagement? All of this is on the table right now. I'm not the only one talking about it. Pick up a Wall Street Journal. The title today says this: it's the big one. That's what they're saying. They're warning all of you. So be prepared, hope for the best. God bless. Jesus Christ is King.